You join us at Latchford Locks on the Manchester Ship Canal. In our last video we travelled 13 miles from Salford Quays through 3 locks, and when we arrived here we found out there'd be a delay of a couple of hours. We moor up at the side of the lock and then we watch the crane barge MSC Buffalo, who we passed earlier, enter the lock. It's a little frustrating to be held up like this, but it's actually quite interesting to watch the crane and the crew at work. Once the crane's in place, we're told to bring the narrowboat into the lock, and that involves a bit of a reverse from our mooring spot and a sharp turn into the chamber. Once there, we have a bit of a wait for the work to be finished. Finally, we're on our way again. Beyond the locks, we pass under the Latchford Viaduct. It was built for the Stockport to Warrington railway line. It first opened in 1893 but closed to passengers in 1962 and to freight in 1985. The next bridge is the Knutsford Road swing bridge, which carries the A50 across the canal. The last bridge in this trio is the Latchford High Level Road Bridge. As the ship canal is so wide, deep and very straight, we can travel quite a bit faster on it than we would on the average canal. The next bridge is the Northwood Road Swing Bridge. We're passing the town of Warrington here. To our right is the junction with the Old Wharton Road Locks branch. Barges would have used that route to transfer hides imported from Argentina the short distance to the tanneries at Howley. Once the tanneries closed, the branch was no longer needed. As we leave the Warrington area, we pass under the Chester Road Swing Bridge. The Acton Grange Railway Viaduct is one viaduct that's still in use today. It now carries the West Coast Main Line over the canal. We're 16 miles into our journey now, and we're on the last straight towards Runcorn. Reaching the Mersey Gateway Bridge means that we're finally on the outskirts of Runcorn now. Widnes is coming up to the north of the navigation and Runcorn is to the south. To the north of us is Wigg Island, which is located between the ship canal and the river. During the Second World War, mustard gas was produced there, and it was an industrial site for a long time, but in 2002 a community park was opened on the site. This is the Old Quay Swing Bridge. there is some of what's left of the infrastructure of the old quay docks. In recent years, some of the docks closer to the centre of Runcorn have been redeveloped into housing. Directly below the canal wall is the River Mersey now. This is Old Quay Lock. Before the ship canal was built, it linked the Runcorn and Latchford Canal down to the River Mersey. Silver Jubilee Bridge was opened in 1961 as a replacement for the Widnes to Runcorn Transporter Bridge. The Transporter Bridge was built back in 1905 and vehicles were moved across the canal and river in a gondola suspended below the high-level bridge. Before the Transporter Bridge there was a ferry on the canal and another one on the river. Just beyond the Jubilee Bridge is the Runcorn Railway Bridge. Here the canal turns south and we pass the old entrance to the Runcorn locks that once linked up to the Bridgewater Canal. There is a proposal in place to get this route opened up again, which would be great. We're now going to be passing the main Runcorn docks. The ship canal is still running directly beside the River Mersey here, and it will continue to do so for the rest of its length. Runcorn's prosperity as a port town really started when the bridge canal arrived in 1776. Locks are built from the canal down to the river to meet the ships. The Bridgewater docks were incredibly busy, so a second set of locks were built. More docks were constructed, including Old Quay, Western Point and Francis Dock. The docks continued to expand throughout the 19th century. Widnes Dock was the world's first purpose-built railway dock, and Alfred Dock was fitted with hydraulic cranes. The Runcorn and Western Canal was built to link with the River Weaver, and Arnold Dock was also built. When the Manchester Ship Canal was opened in 1894, it enabled large ocean-going ships to travel directly to the port of Runcorn. This is Ellesmere Lock, and at one time you could join the River Weaver navigation through the dock. And this is the Western Point Junction, which also leads to the River Weaver navigation. We almost got that far on the Weaver a few years ago, but got stuck behind the Post Office Lane Bridge, which was too low for us to pass under. This church was built for the workers of the Weaver navigation in 1841. When the ship canal was built, an island was formed between the ship canal and the Runcorn and Western Canal. It was said that it was the only church in Britain in use that was on an uninhabited island. The church was declared abandoned in 1995, and it's since been used as an office and for storage for Western Port, and it's no longer accessible to the public. At this point there's now 3 navigations running in parallel. The River Mersey is directly to the west of the ship canal, and the Weaver navigation is directly to the east. As I mentioned, the Weaver navigation is just east of the ship canal. In fact, that bank is all that separates us from it. It's quite strange to think that a few years ago we were passing those same chemical works on that navigation. These huge sluice gates can be used to discharge water direct to the Mersey, and if you look carefully you can see the wide river below. We've now reached Weavermouth. Before the ship canal was built, the Weaver joined the Mersey at Western Marsh, but now it flows into the ship canal instead. If we continue straight here, we'll be on the River Weaver, and we could use Western Marsh Lock to get onto the Weaver navigation. From there we could join the rest of the connected network via the Anderton boat lift, and if the lift hadn't been out of action, that's the way we'd be going. To continue on the ship canal though, we need to bear right. There's lots of buoys in the canal to mark the route. We get a message on the VHF radio to say that there's a ship manoeuvring at Stanlow Point ahead. We're asked to hold in place and wait for the all clear. So we go into neutral and hang around in the middle of the canal. We slowly float on the current and the narrowboat that's travelling with us catches up. Eventually we're given the go-ahead to keep moving. There's clearly more large ships using these docks than the ones back in Runcorn and Manchester. This is the huge Stanlow turning point and lay-by, and I think it's one of these ships that we were waiting for. We're now approaching Ellesmere Port and the junction where we'll be turning is just ahead. The ship canal actually continues for another mile or so to Eastham Locks, where the navigation joins the River Mersey. We came through Eastham Locks a few years ago after crossing the Mersey from Liverpool. We need to lock into the Ellesmere Port Basin and onto the Shropshire Union Canal, but we've arrived too late and the locks are closed, so we moor up in this bottom basin for the night. And that's where we're going to end this video. Thanks for watching and we'll see you next time when we'll be passing through the National Waterways Museum on our way to Chester.